Good morning. My name is Dylan. This is Lee, B, and James here. And today we're going to be talking to you about two companies, Lush and Wonga, with regards to corporate social responsibility, how this shapes the company's reputation, and its practical impact on these businesses. The first, Lush, is a well-established cosmetics retailer. They sell a wide range of unique herbal and natural products. And these are produced and sold in the most natural and environmentally friendly way. These are as sustainably sourced as possible, and they really have a focus on CSR when it comes to their products. Wonga, known in many countries as the most prominent and successful of the payday loan companies, they use software and algorithms to predict whether a loan, the risk of a loan being repaid back. Today, I will be talking about the history, reputation and ethics linking to CSR will be covered by B and Lee. Business ethics will also be covered by B. James will talk to us about the recent performance and the future success. And Lee and I will be talking to you about the lessons that we learned. So moving on to the history, let's start with Lush. A couple, Mark and Mo Constantine, set up herbal hair and beauty clinic in the 1980s. And they supplied to Body Shop for a number of years until they were bought out for £6 million. In the 1990s, they used this money to set up a mail order company called Cosmetics to Go, and this was a great success until the 1993 summer sale, where there was too much demand, their systems crashed, and they lost a lot of data. They had to start again, rebuild, appeal to their loyal customers. They asked them to name their company, and here Lush was born. In 1995, they had enough money to set up 2 more shops, and ever since they've seen success. The second, Wonga, was founded in 2006 by Errol Damlin and John T. Hurwitz. In 2007, they saw the beta website Same Day Cash was launched. In the next year, they had a lot of problems and quite a few defaults in their loans. And through this time, they built data and analysed behaviour within the market, and they were able to develop their algorithm. And in 2008, we saw the market launch of Wonga.com. They've seen big profits ever since then. And now we'll be able to talk to us about CSR.
So let's first start with the definition of CSR. As you know, CSR has very close links with being ethical to the environment. It's also very important that companies which want to be considered socially responsible take care of all stakeholders, which means their customers, their suppliers, the community as a whole, and not only their shareholders. And last but not least, it's important to point out that companies which want to be considered ethical and socially responsible have to go beyond what's legal, because legal doesn't necessarily mean ethical. So it's important to keep this definition in mind when we talk about the Lush and Wonga now. Now I'll give you examples of why Lush is considered to be a very ethical company. First of all, they have a lot of campaigns against animal testing, but one of their biggest ones was in April 2012. It started in their shop on Regent Street in London, and the idea was that the company organized a campaign against testing cosmetic products on animals. The woman that you can see on the picture was representing the role of the animal. She was force-fed. They had given her injections and they cut her hair and things like that. And obviously she wasn't in real pain, but the idea was for her to demonstrate what pain animals go through during cosmetic testings. And Lush wanted to show people so much that they signed a petition against animal testing, because this is a cause that Lush deeply cares about. And they found that animal testing was unacceptable and very unethical. And this is a great example of how they went beyond what's legal, because even though animal testing is legal, they found it very unethical. It is also an example of corporate social marketing campaign, because they were helping to influence the people and try to make people behave in a more ethical way. Another thing that Lush did, which helped build their reputation as a socially responsible company, is their financing of the anti-fracking organization Frackhoff. This was in 2013. Lush donated £20,000 to Frag Paul, but they not only donated money, but they also protested in the demonstrations. When Tam Sionon, she's the head of Lush global campaigns, she changed herself to a fire engine blocking the fracking site, and she got arrested. So she really wanted to demonstrate that she is against fracking. And this is, first of all, an example of staff engagement, which is very important in CSR. It's very important that you engage all of the people of the company and not only like the leaders. And also, it's an example of corporate philanthropy, which means that they directly donated money for a good cause. And now Lee will explain to you why Wonga is considered to have a better reputation.
Okay. Let us shift our focus to Wonga as a payday lender company. Wonga does pay less attention to the customer credit checking process. As far as we see, if you get a UK resident and an ID over 18 and a bank account with a debit card and a mobile phone, congratulations, you definitely can get a short-term loan from Wonga. Wonga has been widely criticized by offering high-cost short-term loan to the customer who cannot recover the loan in the future. And according to the season advice, in 87% of the case it looked at, the borrower hadn't been asked to provide evidence that could recover the loan in the future. And what is more is about Wonga's APR. It increased to the 5,853% now. It's an incredible number. Although the lender said APR does not tell the whole story, but debt charities said the borrowing cost will increase dramatically if the repayment is missed the date. And next, I will talk about an example about Wonga's customer, who is a 13 years old schoolboy. He applied short-term loan through Wonga's online automatic checking system. Even his father didn't know about that. And he got £400 that would have taken him almost 100 years to pay off. And it's a very bad example. And what's more is Wonga has been accused of grooming children. According to the research, the kids under 10 are repeating payday lender's slogan and needing their parents to get a loan, pay for his games, toys, and all of these selfish advertising methods brings a lot of negative influence to the children's education. And then next, B will talk about her business ethics.
So let's talk about business ethics. First, Lush, it's important to point out that Lush takes secondary actions, which means that being ethical comes first to the company and maximizing their profits is not their main objective. In other words, when Lush is doing all of these ethical campaigns, they don't do it because they want to earn money for it. While Wonga, on the other hand, takes lucrative actions, which means that in the company, profit maximization is their main objective, and they are not so concerned with whether or not they're ethical and socially responsible, which means that when managers are making decisions, they care more about how much profit they'll have than if this is ethical or not. However, we can always argue that the easy credit industry does not lend itself to an ethical image, and that companies which are in this industry are just like, will always have this bad reputation. And also I want to explain to you a bit about ethical consumerism, because this is important when James will later talk about the future of the two companies. So there is a relationship between ethical consumerism and income. So in order for you to shop ethically, you have to have a certain income, because shopping ethically is expensive. Products which are produced ethically most of the times cost more, because it costs more to get them to be. It costs more to be produced ethical than not. So you have to keep this thought in mind when James is talking about the future of the two companies. And now he will explain to you about the recent performance of Lush and Wonga.
Hi there, today I'm going to talk to you about the history of both companies, and then we're going to move on to what we think the future holds for both of them. So first of all, Lush Since 2005, it's reported an increase in post-tax profits every year, with the exception of just one. And in 2000, it made post-tax profits in excess of £107,000. This number increased over 60 times by 2013, however. The introduction of an algorithm in 2008 named Profix 10 was a significant revelation. What it did was it allowed the level of inventory required at different shops at different times of year to be more accurately predicted. This allowed the task to be taken away from managers, which allowed them more time on the shop floor to maximise sales. But not only that, it increased annual revenues 15% year on year, because there was less wastage, obviously. But furthermore, it meant that fewer shipments and deliveries had to be made to Lush, reducing their carbon footprint and enhancing their image as an ethical company. Lush currently operates 900 stores in over 50 countries. Now we look at Wonga's recent performance. Obviously started in 2006. It's seen rapid growth. By 2009, it made post-tax profits of over £2.5 million and over £18 million in revenue. 2010 saw the biggest increase in the rate of profits, over 390% on the previous year. But since then, the rate of profits at which profits have been increasing has declined. Wonga is currently worth almost £180 million. So we can see, obviously, that quick growth since its introduction in 2006. 2011 was a very significant year for Wonga. £77 million worth of bad debts were written off, which amounts to 41% of the company's revenues, in complete contradiction to what Errol Damlin said about them being responsible to who they loan money to. Now we look at the future of both companies. Lush has seen consistent growth over a long period of time. It makes it much easier for us to make predictions about what we think is a very bright future for the company. Lush has thrived even throughout the recession, where arguably disposable income is at its lowest, and Lush producing luxury products, you'd expect demand, again, to be at its lowest throughout this period. But as we move into the recovery phase of the economic cycle, the improving economic climate, I anticipate that demand for Lush's products will increase. Now the market structure of Lush, very much a duopoly. Lush and Body Shop dominate the market. This makes it very hard for new entrants to enter into the market, which bodes well for Lush's market share and profits into the future. The future of Wonga potentially looks less bright, however. It benefited in the early days from first mover advantage. Errol Damlin was the first person to come up with the technology, the algorithms needed to assess risk and loan money on a short-term basis. But since then, the technology has become more widely available. Competition through Amiga loans and QuickQuid eating into their market share, negatively affecting their profits. Obviously, again, I go back to the recession, demand for short-term credit's at its highest. People simply just trying to make ends meet. But now the economic climate's improving, banks getting more growing confidence, they're going to be happier to loan money to a wider range of people, which impacts the target market that Wonga can loan money to. Finally, the legislation proposed by George Osborne in conjunction with the Financial Conduct Authority to be brought in 2015 to cap the level of APR to be offered by companies such as Wonga on short-term loans, again, negatively impacts the target market who Wonga can loan money to. I'm now going to hand over to Lee and Dylan, who will cover lessons to be learned for these two companies.
First, I will introduce the market competitiveness first. CSR methodology as a strategic tactic to gain public support for the firm's presence in the global market. It requires the firms to take a part of extra social responsibility without a legal requirement. And for example, like Lush, they make their CSR actions congruent with modern customers' consuming behavior. And this strategy helped Lush expand its market and gain more potential customers. Moreover, CSR helping firms to sustain a competitive advantage by using social contribution to provide a subconscious level of advertising. This effective advertising method increase brand's value and his reputation in the society. And what's more is CSR Europe is an organization. There are a multitude of multinational companies. They can share and take more responsibility and get education on that. Next, Dylan will introduce the rest of the lessons.
Okay, I'm going to cover resilience and survival, which is a point about how corporate social responsibility can bring in loyal customers, and building this relationship between your customers, your employees, and the environment around you really can help a company through tough times. And I'm going to use Lush as an example of this. When they went bust as cosmetics to go, they appealed to their loyal customers, and through this helped them rebuild their company from the ground again. And this shows us that CSR really can provide stability in a company and enhance the capability of survival especially in tough times. We can see that, especially in the modern business world, where CSR really is becoming more prominent, that this is a really good tactic to use. Secondly, I'll be talking about the strength of business plan and the quality of management. And in Lush, we can see they have a heavy focus of CSR. And their business model might be compared to the gardening model metaphor. And through this, you can see that they care and cultivate their company. They look out for their environment and their employees and customers, shaping their company to this metaphor. Wonga, on the other hand, have strong management through Earl Damelin with his innovative ideas, success as an entrepreneur prior to Wonga as well, and utilitarianism might be a relevant comparison to their business model. Pleasing a majority whilst a minority might not be unhappy with their product, as we've seen in the examples. Both business models do work for their companies, and despite the CSR associated with both of these businesses, we can see that strength in management and a good quality business plan really can help and develop, can really help strong management and is key to success. And it's conclusive to say that today, from our research, we can see that CSR really does have a major impact on these businesses and their success, especially in the modern day. And CSR really has the ability to make or break a company's reputation. How an employer, people around them, and the customers really perceive their company and associate with their brand name. CSR is also a useful tool in many, many aspects, and can play a major role in success. And this is coming into the modern day. This is a key point for businesses to really catch on to. Thank you, and we'd like to invite any questions.
Okay, thank you very much. Can we stop the recording?